These are supplements that I would take that I could tolerate, I could digest, that would give me the results I need. I'm Maggie Yu MD. I am a functional and holistic medicine physician, an MD, and I would love to just have you get to know me a little bit. Who is she? What am I about? Love to share that with you. Firstly, you're watching this video because you've seen something about either our programs or our line of supplement products. And I think it's really important for people to, number one, be educated, and number two, to understand the why and then the how. And I don't think that you could do that unless you meet your teacher. And so wanted to let you know that I am a physician that's 27 years in practice. I'm dating myself. And I started out, I went to UCLA Medical School and ended up practicing for the first 10 years of my career as a traditional family medicine physician. And that's when I got sick. Well, I probably got sick way before that, but that's when I got really sick. And so through my own mystery illnesses, I went into early menopause. I had chronic fatigue, hair loss, pain, fibromyalgia. Could not figure out what was going on with me with all my MD training at one of the top medical schools in the country. Also worked with two of the largest medical groups in the United States. And I was even medical director at one of the clinics for one of the groups for several years. So I knew what the heck I was doing. And I was a very well trained, high performing family practitioner until I got sick. And so it was in that process that I realized that the way I was trained and the way that I practiced, as good as I was, as much as I cared, it did not provide the answers of why I was having all these symptoms. And I was being told, you know what, your labs are normal. Why don't you go ahead and take an antidepressant, birth control pill, or take this pain medication, or gabapentin, or get some psychotherapy? And these are from my colleagues. And the sad thing is, these were the things that I was saying to my patients when I couldn't figure out what was in them. It must be in their heads, right? Just throw something at them, get them out of your office until I became that person. So through that process, over the course of the next, couple years, I actually had to invest in going outside the box. I had to get additional medical training that I wasn't paid to learn. I didn't get no pharmaceutical kickback to say, hey, go learn how to prescribe this drug. This is my own dime, my own time, my own initiative. And I learned, like, what are all the other tools I didn't learn as an MD? And I found out there was such a huge world around hormone balancing, blood sugar, gut infection, digestion, food sensitivities, nutrient density, functional labs are way beyond what I learned. And it blew my mind. And it also was a major game changer for me with my health. So when I applied these techniques to myself, starting with first hormone balance, I got better until I didn't. And it wasn't until I pursued more testing and I figured out I have an autoimmune disease. Ended up, I had Hashimoto's. And later on, I was diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disorder, as well as fibromyalgia and lots of mystery symptoms, right? Neuropathy, pain, you name it, poor healing from injuries. So there was more and more and more that pointed autoimmunity was a big issue for me, which really then had me apply and learn all these other things with blood sugar, digestion, so many other things put together. And I got better. I got better. But I had to hit rock bottom before I got better. And when I hit rock bottom, it was bad rock bottom, meaning that it got so bad that I lost my job, I had a divorce, I lost my family, and I nearly ended my life. That's how alone these symptoms can be for those of us, even when you're a doctor, and it's worse when you're not. And even as a doctor, I became a patient and I had to receive the kind of care you guys received. And I realized there were no answers there. So it really was at rock bottom on my knees that I realized I really had to do something different. And I implemented, I even started my own functional medicine clinic in Oregon. And I got better and I helped a ton of other people get better. What I learned was that, in starting our online programs, I realized that education was the key for me, was the golden ticket, Willy Wonka's golden ticket to get out of my chronic health issues. Not just education, but I had to know what the right pieces of data to get were and how to implement those pieces of data, what kind of lifestyle, nutritional changes I needed to make, and also what foods I had to remove from a food sensitivity standpoint. And trust me, I went on AIP diets, all those diets you're talking about, keto, pescatarian, you name it, I went on it. I just got sicker. So I had to develop some new technologies, some new systems of ways to deal with this in order to cure myself and turn myself around. So about 6, 7 years ago, the idea for an online training program to teach people like you and practitioners on how to turn around their health naturally came about, and that was formed and that's transformed. We looked at also how to help people turn around their hormones. That's my hormone masterclass. We also looked at a supplement company, which is MYMD Biotherapeutics, and that was designed specifically for all of you out there and myself. These are supplements that I would take that I could tolerate, I could digest, that would absorb, that would give me the results I need, and that I was educated about. So, with that in mind, this is an educational company. And so, my goal is to educate everybody on the why. What's the underlying root cause issue? Only when you get educated on the why does the how make sense that you would even implement it and you would even know what to look for to know that it's working. So for me, that's the idea behind all our companies is education first, number one. Number two is, of course, minimal number of ingredients and highest amount of efficacy. So, and in all our medical trainings and even in our Facebook group, if you look at it, we have thousands of videos now available on all sorts of platforms, including TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. And behind every single video training that I do is number one is education. Number one. Number two, I only recommend shit that works. It's called efficacy, right? And I think number three is also changing the minds of people one video at a time. That the biggest s- takeaway from my story and for your story is that education is going to be your way out of this. And education isn't going to be Googling. I Google too. We're in the golden age where there's tons of information, but it's personalized to no one. So it's really important that education means that you get educated, number one, on the principles. Number two, you also get the right data. Number three, so that you know how to personalize it to you. And number four, you have the right mentorship to tell you exactly the why and the how so you get results. Anything short of that is not the optimal use of your time, energy, and resources. So, again, I'm here to kick ass, take names, and chew bubblegum. That's my personality. That's also the motto of everything that we do. And so that includes our programs and our supplement company. And so I wanted you to welcome you to me. And this is you getting to know me a little bit. There's going to be a lot of videos on YouTube too. If you're interested on my hormone story, if you're interested in how trauma triggered a lot of my hormonal and chronic disease symptoms. But you're also going to get to see hundreds and hundreds of videos of other people just like you, or even sicker than you, who have successfully been able to turn it around in possible situations that they were told were lost causes. I was a lost cause. Yeah, I was a lost cause, and I'm no longer a lost cause. Not only that, that whole experience, I have gratitude for it because it helps spur me to educate myself. And now I get to practice my passion every day. I get to learn, I get to create, and I get to teach, just like I did on this video. So nice to meet you, Maggie Yu MD, and I hope you have a wonderful time exploring all the resources that are available on our website and all our social media channels and in our Facebook group. Thank you, everybody.